The call all summer has been get business done, spend the money. And I feel like that too. I've been more patient than most. I've been very patient in the sense of being confident that a deal would arrive when the time was right. But even for me, it's gone past 4 weeks now since Yuri Tielemans has arrived. I would have liked to have seen more by this point, but there's still just over 2 weeks to go. And it seems like Michael Carrick recognizes what everybody else is talking about. I think I've seen in places that people have said that he's called out the board. I don't see it like that at all. I think this is Michael Carrick who is aligned with the message that is coming out of Manchester United, that they don't want to just go and spend money willy-nilly. They need to make sure that the deal is right. They need to make sure that the player and the character is the right fit, that they fit in the right position. Michael Carrick, though, knows what it's going to take Manchester United on to the next level. So he said, and I'm going to grab a quote from him here, I think on transfers, I think we've got a pretty good balance in all when you lay out the squad, which I agree with. I do want to look into United's squad depth in an episode of the pod, actually, whether I do it before the season begins or whether I do it after the transfer window closes. I haven't quite decided yet. But he said, I think we've got a pretty good balance all in all when you lay out the squad. But yeah, of course, we would like more. We would like more. We need to keep pushing for more. So that is the kind of message that is coming out from the head coach of Manchester United, acknowledging what the fans are acknowledging. And what the fans want is for United to take those next steps to go and round out the squad properly so we can all be confident that there are no holes, no major holes in this team, and we can be confident that United can compete on all fronts next season. Because as it stands, the squad's looking good. But like I say, there is one or two holes in the team which are obvious and standing out. And Michael Carrick even said that himself as well. There's one or two areas where we'd like to improve. I don't know if he was being specific, particularly on left back and central midfield at that point, but one or two. There's a nice matchup there. But he said there's one or two areas where we'd like to improve, and we feel that there's a possibility to improve. But again, that needs to be something that we can do that makes us better, improves the group, whether that's quality or whether that's a little bit of depth. That's something that we've got to manage. That's pretty obvious. So even him saying that's pretty obvious, I think that message there is just an acknowledgement really from him that, hey guys, yes, we know that we haven't actually done as much as you would like us to at this moment in time, but we're on it. I think this is how I took it, is we're on it. We know. Trust us. And I've been quite trusting of United, given the success they had in the last summer transfer window in 2025. They have done half a job so far, but Carrick knows. Carrick knows, I think, based on what he said here, that United need more. And it seems as though he's pretty confident that they will get the deals done because he's out there talking about it. I don't think this is Michael Carrick coming out and saying, yes, I obviously need more if I'm to meet the targets that are expected of me towards the end of the season. Hey, Omar, hey, Jason, get a move on, get some players in for me. I think Michael Carrick he's come into this situation, as people have pointed out, not having the required coaching experience at the top level. That's one of people's big red flags about him. It's not one of mine personally. I look at the coaches around the Big Six and all the changes that have been made. I think it's quite an open race this year. The accusations have been in the recent past that, Ineos will bring in a yes man, and Michael Carrick fits that perfectly because he hasn't done anything in his career to this point to warrant sitting in the Manchester United hot seat. That's a big criticism of him. Again, I'm not saying that this is my personal feeling. This is just a feeling that is out there from certain sections of the fan base and was when we didn't know whether he'd be getting this job full-time and permanently. But Michael Carrick is there sitting down, acknowledging that United need more. We want more. We need more. We need to keep pushing for more. Like, all of that is out there now. So I think that has comforted me in a sense that United are on it and United are biding their time. But United, importantly, know everything that the fans are seeing. It seems like the match is there. It seems like the club know what the fans want to see and need to see. And I'm pretty confident here that over the next 2 and a bit weeks, we will see United do the business that needs to be done, because the holes are too obvious in the team. They're too obvious, no matter what the reports are. And there's talk about, United don't have enough money to do this. There is money there. I think it's clearly obvious. You look around at what United have intended to do and what they've intended to spend on certain players and compared to what they have spent and what they have raised at this moment in time. There is money there to do business. I would like it to have been done sooner, as everybody would have, but I'm confident that the ambition will be there to put United back in title conversations over the next 2 years. I'm hoping that can be this season. But the holes in the team are so obvious that the football leadership team have to also know them. So it's just good to see that Michael Carrick has come out and said in a public setting to journalists that, yeah, we kind of know. We want to do this. We want to get it done. So I'm confident over the next 2 weeks that United will get the business done. And let's see. We are none the wiser at the moment to what is actually happening and what they are going to do, despite some transfer links which are bubbling in the background. But I think it was good generally that Michael Carrick did this sit down and was actually asked these questions, because I think it's calmed a few people down who were out there thinking that United were just doing nothing behind the scenes. I think the acknowledgement is important for United fans, has calmed them down a little bit. And obviously, they need to make sure in the first 2 weeks of the season that they beat two newly promoted teams in order to keep that good feeling going. It can turn south pretty quickly, and United can look pretty desperate if they don't win either of those two games, or God forbid they don't win any of those games. If they then turn into the market, they are cast as desperate. And any kind of transfer that comes in for an expensive price will be looked at as an overpay because they've reacted to the results. So they need to get a move on pretty quick, and let's see what they end up doing. He also spoke about the title and was asked about it. He said, first and foremost, for the players to believe that, it puts us all in a good place. I think he's referring there to a player who has said that essentially United should be competing for titles. I've seen Nus Mazraoui say that when he was put up for TV interviews after the Leeds friendly the other day. I think this was Lenny Yoro, though, who is the guy that said this. But Carrick has just come out there and said, yeah, you've got to have the belief. What he said here, you've got to have the belief going into the season that we can achieve something special. But they've got to go out there and do it and feel it. I'm not going to make any crazy predictions, but I think on the back of what we've done, that gives us the confidence to move forward. We've definitely got the potential to achieve something really special. I'm not hiding from that fact, and we should aim to do that, which is much more in line with what should be expected of United. Now, Yuri Tielemans said something interesting in the Rio Ferdinand interview that he did as well, acknowledging that, like, he's joined the club, that they want to win titles. I'm paraphrasing him here. I don't have the quotes in front of me specifically, but he said that it's a journey, it's a step-by-step process, but everybody knows that Manchester United need to compete for titles and need to win titles, and that's what the ambition will be. But it's a step-by-step process. I think everything to me at this moment in time matches the timeline that has been set by Ineos for Project 150. I think where we are at the moment, with this 2 weeks left in the transfer window, 2 or 3 players added to this unit will give United a fighting chance, a real chance of competing on 4 fronts. And what Michael Carrick managed to do last season with the group of players that he had was get a consistency in results. What United have managed to do is strengthen the team to the point where if you rotate one player out for another, you shouldn't really see too drastic a drop off. And that should mean that performance levels are kept up to a relatively high point, and results should hopefully, as a result of that, also be kept up to a relatively high point. So you can actually get some consistency in your performances. The calm around the club, with Yuri Tielemans coming in, the leadership skills that he has, with more leaders that are also around the team at the moment, as Tielemans has acknowledged in that Rio Ferdinand interview as well, with Michael Carrick's calmness at the top, I think this is a group of players now which has a good level of senior experience that should be able to deal a lot better with the expectation of playing for Manchester United and what comes with it than maybe groups of the past. Tielemans himself has said that there's maybe some egos in the team, but if they all pull in the right direction, and all indications are that they will, if they pull in the right direction, they can achieve a lot of things. And for Michael Carrick to be out there being asked questions about the title and to be saying, we've got the potential to achieve something really special, I'm not hiding from that fact, and we should aim to do that. That is an embracing of what Manchester United should be going for. I've said for many years on this pod that I haven't felt United have been ready to compete for titles, because there's been, every summer we've gone in and United have signed 3 or 4 players and they've left a couple of positions, or maybe even more than that, positions where you just would have thought, just go and get them done, and they have only done half a job each time. There is still a risk of that happening if United do nothing else in the transfer window. And if this is the way that it ends, then I think criticism will be due, because the holes in the team will be blatantly obvious at that point in time. But for Michael Carrick to come out here and acknowledge that we should be aiming as a football club to compete for titles, it is a recalibration of expectations with reality. I have said numerous times that I haven't thought United have been ready to compete for titles For a long time, there's been one or two times over the course of the last 10 years where I've thought United have a good enough squad and a good enough team to actually like realistically be in the conversation. And every season that has gone by since 2013, United have not managed to compete for the title. I don't personally feel that that's the case this year. I feel as though there is more to come out of Manchester United. I feel like there is a real good energy about the team. I feel like there is depth. I feel like there is calm. I feel like the level of technical quality has been raised. The midfield has been half fixed, but the midfielders that have come in are really technical footballers who can add like a brain to the team and technical quality to the team, who pass the ball forward, who can keep possession. I think that those players being there will help Manchester United control games they should be controlling as well. But this is a group of players, and in midfield especially, this is a quartet of players now that know that they need to pass the ball forward and to give the ball to United's dangerous attackers so they can go and make the difference. This is not going to be, I don't think, a laboured possession team. I think this is going to be a team with purpose. And Michael Carrick has helped instill that through what he's been coaching and what he's been training with these players over the course of the last 9 months or so since he's been in there. Eight and a bit months, I think, or maybe just 8 months since he arrived in January. But he was asked about his midfield as well. He said, just naturally, we all see the game for certain things. Your eye takes you to different parts of the game. We can all watch the game and see something a little bit different. Being a midfielder and how I've seen the game in some ways, it helps because you're connected to all parts of the team over time. I'm not saying you have to be a midfielder to be a good coach. I've said that personally. I think there's something in smart midfielders translating into good coaches, and Michael Carrick is part of that like cohort of players at top jobs in football at the moment as well. But I think he said that's how my reference points are in some ways, what I feel has worked over the years with what kind of football I think the supporters want to see as well. Hopefully that fits together naturally. Midfield is a big part of the teams that I've coached. So United have lacked a midfield brain. They've lacked midfield energy. And they've always had some kind of deficiency in that area of the team specifically for a long, long time. Now Carrick, who was a midfielder by trade and one of the best midfielders of his generation, one of the smartest midfielders of his generation, he understands not only what to do and how to get that midfield area of the pitch ticking, but also how important having that area of the pitch right means for the success of the football team that he's taking charge of. So we've seen it in preseason. We've seen the possession that United can keep. We've seen the line-breaking passes that there's a lot of emphasis on at this moment in time. And I'm just more confident now that a lot of the problems and a lot of the issues that have been raised in Manchester United teams of the past, I'm confident that we are starting to move past them. Obviously, proof needs to be in the pudding. I'm not saying that United are out of the woods or whatever, but I have every reason, more reasons than I have had in a long, long time, to feel as though United will be capable of challenging for leagues. And the fact that they're talking about it, the fact that Carrick is there saying that we can achieve something really special, but I'm not going to make any crazy predictions, it puts United in a position where I think what United are thinking as well is that they want to consolidate for the season to come at the very, very least. And I will do a season preview with Adam coming out probably on Monday, expectations, predictions, and this kind of thing, probably coming out on Monday to talk through what I'm expecting and what I'm hoping for out of United this season. But the baseline has been set. The baseline was last season. Now it's time to reestablish that baseline, not only in the Premier League, but also in Europe as well, and to kick on and keep adding to it. If we find that United do sign another couple of players this season, but it's not quite enough, that experience will be good taking forward if United have another solid season. And then you would look at the defense and think that maybe that is the group of the team now, or the area of the team, which just needs those final touches. And maybe there'll be like an X factor player or two that United can end up signing down the line who can end up making the big differences. But this is how you build teams. This is how you take United from where they were a few years ago to the point that they are now. A lot of smart recruitment, a lot of good characters in the camp, more good characters in the camp as well. They've signed a leader in Yuri Tielemans. They've signed a captain at youth levels, and for Strasbourg in Andre Santos as well. More leaders in the group getting to deal with that expectation that comes with playing for Manchester United. I'm just feeling positive about the season to come. He's also spoken a little bit about Kobbie Mainoo and Marcus Rashford as well. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with Rashford at the moment, but I think he's dealing with this situation, with what he's saying, very, very well. I really do. We have not had confirmation at this moment in time that Rashford is definitely going to stay from Carrick, because I don't think you can exactly predict the future. If there is a big offer that comes in, United are pretty well stocked on left wingers. They've signed Tynan Thompson as well, and they do need to offer him a pathway into the Manchester United first team over the course of the next couple of years or so. Rashford is in there. It was unexpected, but what Michael Carrick does do is just focus on the positives. He said, Marcus is our player and he's part of the group like anyone else. He came in, trained really well. I've known him a long time, like I've known some of the others a long time, so I don't treat him any differently to anyone else. But it's been good to have him around the group again this week. I'm really positive with that. And he went on to say he's a very good player. And if you're going to have a career over 10 to 15 years, there's going to be times when things go in a different direction. All right, that happens. There are ups and downs. And that doesn't judge you as a one-off judgment. Now we're in a positive place as a group, and Marcus can offer us so much. He has done and he can do it again. So in that respect, it's quite exciting. He gives us something a little bit different. And the way that he's managed Kobbie Mainoo as well, being in contact with him over the course of the summer, this is another quality of Michael Carrick here. I'm actually talking him up a lot, right? Then there were times towards the end of last season when he was coming in and he was just running through the mill with the press conferences and the press appearances he was doing. He was not giving too much away. He, of course, didn't know that he would actually have the job full time at that moment in time. So maybe he didn't feel like he could speak as honestly as he wanted to speak because he didn't want to jeopardize the chance of getting the job full time. I don't know. Maybe we see some kind of difference in Michael Carrick in the season to come in that respect. I like his man management. I like the way that he's putting his arm around players here, trying to get the best out of them. That was one of the big things about him when he came in the first place, just getting the group of players that he had to play the best football that they could, relying on their strengths. And now he's got a group of other footballers that have come into this, or players that have been reintroduced, like Marcus Rashford, who you just know Michael Carrick has played with Rashford. He has coached Rashford. He now gets the chance, if he stays, to manage Rashford, like directly. He knows exactly what Marcus Rashford is good at. I don't feel like Michael Carrick is going to be the kind of guy to bow down to the pressure or have favourites. I think he's just going to do what is best for Manchester United. And I'm really hopeful that we do see more positive progress over the course of the season, because the kind of character that he is he just instills that calm, helps take the pressure away, and that will really, really help Manchester United over the course of the season to come. I'm speaking very positively here. You can tell that I'm probably quite excited for the season, and maybe I'm getting a little bit too over exuberant and a little bit too confident that things are going to go well, because we've all been here before, right? We've been here before where we've been optimistic at the start of the season only for it to actually go to the pan and go south so quickly. There is a chance of that happening, but I'm more confident that it won't happen this time around because of some of the stuff that I've said about how Michael Carrick is, the squad depth and this kind of thing. And the pressure and how he deals with the pressure from the outside. If he's getting asked questions about Marcus Rashford being on the bench, I'm sure he'll straight back. It all water off a duck's back. You've seen how he's dealt with like criticism from former teammates of his in the past who've said that Michael Carrick shouldn't be getting the job and this kind of thing. It just doesn't affect him at all. And I would expect that that's going to be the kind of character that we're going to have in charge of this team moving forward. So I'm really glad that he sat down and that he's talked a little bit about what United are planning. It's a really good interview as well. I think there's another one coming out on the Carrington podcast from Manchester United, probably at some point on Friday. It might be out by the time you're listening to this. I don't know. But he will take Manchester United into the final preseason friendly against AC Milan on Saturday afternoon, with Ruben Amorim coming up against him. Now, I've seen many people out there who are like, just absolutely stick it to him and make him miserable. Milan have had a terrible preseason. I think they drew with Celtic. They were 2-0 down at Celtic. I want to say they lost 3-0 against Chelsea a week or so ago. Like I say, he's got players who are on the firing line, or what's it called? The bomb squad, right? Kicking out a number of players already in his first summer, because what Ruben Amorim wants from his team is high energy and players that are very specific to the system that he plays. I was defensive of Amorim. I was more patient with Amorim when he was here than most people. I do acknowledge that. But I'm very much in the camp now of, yeah, it would be really nice to actually just go and see Kobbie Mainoo and Marcus Rashford absolutely run rings around Milan and make Ruben Amorim look a little bit stupid, because of the way that it all went towards the end. I think the way that he went out was in kind of a selfish blaze. What was best for Manchester United at that moment in time, I think he did do a good job of resetting the culture. And I've said that even in the last couple of weeks, I have said that and I stick by that. I do think there are some positive foundations that he laid for this Manchester United team to be as they are now in terms of getting certain characters in. I stand by that. I do. And it's not the most popular thing to say. But he now does manage another club. This is a preseason friendly, but there is a lot of juice that Manchester United can squeeze out of this, and it will give the social media community and just everybody in general a real boost, a real shot on the arm if United are able to go into this friendly, play some of the football they've been playing in pre-season, and like put Milan to the sword. Because I look at that team, I see like 40-year-old Luka Modric. How is he going to cope in that midfield where it's just so demanding? I don't know how this season is going to go for him, I've got to say, but you look at the Milan team, the quality of teams in Serie A at the moment with the players they've got, the Premier League is head and shoulders ahead, and Manchester United just haven't really been, over the last few years, at the top level, at the top table in European football. Like when they're back in the Champions League, I would look at a game against Milan like this, and I would fully expect United to beat Milan, maybe even home and away. That's just, again, is it a sign of overconfidence? I don't know. Never too high, never too low, right? But that is the strength of the Premier League. And yes, it is only a friendly that's coming on Saturday. We can hope, really. The best outcome of this would be that the likes of Marcus Rashford and Kobbie Mainoo get back on the pitch and they both score. And people have varying degrees of what they would like to do, celebrating Ruben Amorim's face and all this kind of stuff. I don't know what kind of reception he's going to get from the supporters out there or from the players who, like, he pretty much expunged Marcus Rashford from the Manchester United squad. And Kobbie Mainoo, we know that he didn't exactly see eye to eye with Kobbie Mainoo either. And, you go back to that press conference where he was laughing in response to a question about why Kobbie Mainoo wasn't playing. Just didn't sit right with a lot of people. But this is Manchester United's last preseason friendly, and it's a good one to have. If it goes well, we'll have a good week moving forward, and hopefully we get some movement in the transfer market as well. Just some idea, anyway, of who United are going to be moving for in the final 2 weeks of the window. Let me know your thoughts on the show today in the comment section. What have you thought of Michael Carrick's comments? Go and watch that Yuri Tielemans interview as well. I think Rio Ferdinand he's changed the game in a sense. I said this on Twitter. He has changed the game in a sense of being an interviewer who has developed his skills really well, but he asks questions which are full of insight, given he has also played at the very top level. So I think footballers gravitate to that, and there's really natural conversations to the point where I think most journalists out there, you can't really touch that level of quality, depth, and insight. And it's a really good interview with Yuri Tielemans as well. I'm confident that he will come in and make a big impact to this Manchester United team too. So go and watch that. Watch the Michael Carrick interview as well, and the Carrington podcast that comes out. I'm probably going to watch that at some point when it comes out after this. But yeah, I'll be watching the Milan game, and I'll come back to you with my thoughts on that after it happens too. And then it's full steam ahead for the new season. So are you excited? Let me know in the comments. Please subscribe to this podcast if you've not done so already. All the links are in the description. It'll be a big season ahead. I'm going to be here pretty regularly for you. I'm trying to do like once a day in August at the moment. We're seeing how it's going. It's going pretty well. So again, thank you very much to everyone who has subscribed and listens to the podcast. Subscribe on YouTube as well. Follow me on social at @_Scott Saunders on X, Instagram, and TikTok. And I'll see you soon, everyone, for another episode of TPL.